just beat the Undead Asylum and you're heading on over to Firelink Shrine, you're probably pretty pumped, ready to jump into this game and take it head on. Well, there's a few things you can do in Firelink that'll probably even out the road ahead, make things a little bit easier to deal with. First thing you'll notice is there's a few characters sitting around, just kinda waiting. The Mute Firekeeper is one. Don't forget about her. This Crestfallen Warrior guy seems kinda squirrely, but he pretty much lays out a roadmap of where to go, so don't miss out talking to him either, okay? But Petrus, he's the important one. So, I don't know what kind of build you're planning on making, and Petrus himself is a little bit difficult to interact with at first, since he seems to generally not want to be bothered, unless you're a Way of White member when you start. I think the Knight and the Cleric both have that covenant. But Petrus is actually a fantastic person to chat up here the beginning of the game, because he'll give you access to the game's miracles. Earliest you can do it. You'll have to join the covenant with him, which is no big deal. You can always change it later. But yeah, miracles help. Okay, there's a few things in particular that he'll sell here that aren't exactly demanding in terms of statisticals. So if you're worried about, wasting points in something, assuming you've got attunement, of course, to wield at least one slot, the important one that he's got is heal. Okay, early game, if you're having trouble getting humanity and kindling those bonfires past 5, heal will help. Another thing you got to do in Firelink, go up to this little staircase here and roll off. You'll find a little stash of chests here. Now there's a couple of things here that are pretty interesting. Cracked Eye Orbs if you want to get some early invasions going, try it out. There's a few powerful items as well. Morning Star and a Talisman, which means you don't have to buy one from Petrus. And the Morning Star itself is actually the game's earliest bleed weapon that you can acquire. There's a few other little knickknacks here, including Undead Charms. Now, once you've done that, the Graveyard. Now, most players who are new to the game will hop down here will notice that the Graveyard is full of skeletons that can pretty much take you out. But if you're quick enough and you don't mind going for a little suicide run, you can make a quick dash through the Graveyard here. There's 2 large headstones. The Winged Spear is by one of them, which is a fantastic early spear if you're looking for a polearm. But more important than that, if you got the strength stats, the Zweihanda. You can pillage it over here in the end. Fantastic weapon. This is one of those things that if you stat into it, it could last you the whole game. Even if you two-hand it, it's pretty amazing. It's got a pretty unique move you can do that'll flatten most normal enemies in the game. The R2 attack I'm talking about. Just don't stick around in there too long after you get everything. Okay, so now we're going to go to New Londo, friends. Now, New Londo rests below Firelink Shrine. It's an abandoned settlement that is completely flooded and full of horrible things. There's no bonfire. It can be pretty much a death trap for people who are just wandering in there the second they start the game. So be careful walking around too far in. However, if you take the elevator and you find this little niche on the wall with a staircase and you'll take it down to a little cage, you'll notice Rickard of Finheim. Yeah, Rickard, right? This is Rickard. No, this is Griggs. No, this is Rickard. And he's a blacksmith. Game's early blacksmith. Now, normally you've got to go find Andre before you can actually start, reinforcing your gear and things like that. But it's a nice early secret. As long as you have Titanite shards, he can help you get things to +5 before you even get to the parish. Alternately, he sells additional sorcery gear, like a soul arrow, a heavy soul arrow, and an extra sorcery catalyst if you want to dabble, but you didn't pick that as a starting class. Even better than that, okay, finding a way across the plank bridge into the ghost-infested depths of New Londo. There's a Firekeeper soul you can acquire very, very early. I recommend using your souls before you do this because you probably will die. It's almost a guaranteed suicide run since you can't fight the ghost efficiently at this point of the game. But if you make this mad dash along the narrow passage, Firekeeper soul allows you to reinforce your flask to +1, which is pretty significant in the first few areas of the game, so don't miss out on that.